The 2022 Halloween season will mark the 10-year anniversary of some of the coolest animatronics Spirit Halloween has ever made. Is it possible that we'll see these animatronics return for the 2022 season? For everything scary, I'm GMHaunts, and it seems like this time of year is one of the most active times for haunters making predictions for the upcoming Halloween season. All of the time now, it seems like haunters are talking about what kind of themes they want for Spirit Halloween 2022, what kind of animatronics they want to see, and really, people are just predicting all kinds of things for all kinds of different Halloween companies. Now for today, I turn my attention to Spirit Halloween, of course my favorite Halloween company, and I'm going to be taking a look at something interesting that may indicate what kind of animatronics we're going to be seeing for the 2022 season. Now, obviously, the past couple years have made Spirit Halloween's Flashback Fridays one of the most notorious things for Spirit Halloween season. Now, although we didn't really see it in its full glory last year for 2021, 2020, its debut season, really saw some awesome Flashback Fridays where Spirit utilized the Flashback Friday graphic to release multiple animatronics that were returning in their brand new versions, most of them for their 10-year anniversary back in 2020. Of course, we saw the most notorious return, that being Uncle Charlie returning for 2020 because of his 10-year anniversary. Now, last year for 2021, we saw Wacky Mole Clown return, who was one of the most requested animatronics of all time, and after we got Uncle Charlie, Wacky Mole Clown became the #1 most requested animatronic, and we got him for 2021. However, it was not his 10-year anniversary. He actually came out in 2013, and he came back in 2021. Obviously, that means it was not his 10-year anniversary just yet. But after we saw Uncle Charlie return for his 10-year anniversary back in 2020, it got me thinking, what if there's going to be more animatronics that are returning, but for their 10-year anniversary? Now, obviously, if that is going to happen once again with the returning things we're going to have for this year, it would mean that anything returning for 2022 would have to be released for the 2012 season, and there's been some awesome stuff that was released back in 2012 that we could definitely see returning for the 2022 season because of it being the 10-year anniversary. So without further ado, let me share you my top 5 animatronics that I would love to see return for the 2022 season back from 2012 for their 10-year anniversary. Let's count it down from number 5. So the first animatronic that could see a Flashback Friday in Spirit Halloween 2022 because it's going to be the 10-year anniversary is MOURNER. Now, MOURNER is a pretty popular Spirit Halloween animatronic. Again, she came out back in 2012, which is why it would be her 10-year anniversary for the 2022 season. She was manufactured by Techie Design, and she retailed for $139, $140 United States dollars, rounded up with change and also after tax. Now, MOURNER is a pretty popular animatronic because the concept that she has to her. She's a sort of bride animatronic, and when activated, she springs upward and then her head turns around to reveal a very gruesome, very creepy looking face. Now, this has always been an animatronic that people have wanted to see return simply because of the fact that it's a bride, and we really don't see a lot of bride animatronics. Last year for 2021, we saw Evelyn Leach, but other than that, we really don't see that many bride animatronics from Spirit. This would be really interesting to see MOURNER return because we don't see many brides. Now, back in 2012, MOURNER was featured in the Spirit Valley Farms ISC, which was the front theme for Spirit Halloween 2012. And again, since she was released in 2012, 2022 would be her 10-year anniversary. Now, I definitely do think it would be possible to see MOURNER return just because a lot of people really do enjoy her because of her concept and her motion. People have really enjoyed her for since 2012, and people have always brought up the idea after we saw Uncle Charlie come back, is it a possibility to see MOURNER return? And I think if it's going to happen, it would really make sense to happen next year for 2022 because it will be the 10-year anniversary of MOURNER. The only issue this animatronic has with it was pretty faulty. Now, obviously, with the revamped and returning animatronics, the company tends to redo it and keep the same look, but then kind of redo the mechanism and make it better quality. If MOURNER was to return, Techie Design would probably fix up the mechanism and make it just a little bit more high quality so it wasn't breaking all the time. But that's probably what would happen if she did return for the 2022 season. But I think it definitely would be interesting to see her back in the ISCs just because of the fact of how much people really want to see her back and because it would be her 10-year anniversary. Let's take a look at the next animatronic that could be returning for Spirit Halloween 2022 due to the 10-year anniversary. So this next animatronic that's going to have its 10-year anniversary during the Spirit Halloween 2022 season is Mean Old Gramps. Now, Mean Old Gramps is one of my favorite animatronics of all time. Absolutely love him. He retailed for $119.99, 120 United States dollars. Again, he came out back in 2012. He was also manufactured by Techie Design, and he was also featured in the Spirit Valley Farms ISE. Now, I've always loved Mean Old Gramps because of the absolute scariness that he has to him. I always have, like, a thing for creepy old people and creepy old grandparents in horror movies. So Mean Old Gramps is always one that I've liked a lot. And really, Spirit does not do a lot of old animatronics of, like, old people. So I absolutely love Mean Old Gramps, and I think he's one of the scariest animatronics that Spirit has ever made. And he is really one of the only old people that we've seen since 2012. So it would be awesome to see him come back. I think his look is really, really cool. I love his hair. I love his really creepy face. And I think the thing that makes him the coolest and the thing that everybody remembers about him is the way that he is hung up on a wall. He kind of has a similar look to the Harvester, who is also has the opportunity to be hung up on the wall. And I really like that because it makes him different than all other animatronics. There's really not a lot of other props that have a similar look to Mean Old Gramps. So overall, I love his concept, but I also love the way that he's displayed on a wall. His audio is really creepy, his face is really creepy, and his look is also really, really good. Now, he's not the greatest of quality because he was designed by Techie all the way back in 2012, which is when they were still kind of working on their quality. But I feel like, again, if he was to return for the 2022 season, he would get revamped and made into a better quality and return for 2022, probably with a much better module and a much better just kind of overall quality. So I think that if he did return for the 2022 season, he would be the absolute best version of Mean Old Gramps we've ever seen. He would have a better speaker, a better module, and just a better quality to his overall frame. And again, he would just be perfect to come back for 2022 because of how scary he really is. And Mean Old Gramps could actually kind of fit in a lot of different ISEs because he's just an old, kind of creepy person. I feel like he could fit in a hospital theme, he could really fit in a jail theme, he could really fit in a lot of stuff because he's kind of a generic, just creepy old man. But nonetheless, I would love to see him return for the 2022 season for his 10-year anniversary because he's always been one of my favorites, and I think he's just so creepy. I would love to see him in Spirit Halloween's 2022 lineup. Let's take a look at the next animatronic that could be returning for their 10-year anniversary. So this next animatronic is another one of my favorites of all time, and this is the Howler. Also manufactured by Techie Design. He retailed for $129.99, $130 back in 2012 when he was originally sold. Now this guy actually has the same animation as Demonica and Damien, two other Techie Design animatronics. Head rises up, it's a half body, kind of looks like he's climbing onto the ground. He kind of makes some werewolf noises, and overall he's not super different than Demonica and Damien, really, other than his look. The reason why I love him so much is because of his look. Werewolf animatronics have always been ones that I really liked. And since 2012, back in Spirit Valley Farms, there was a part of the barn that only had werewolves, and this was, the Howler was one of the animatronics that was featured in that part of the ISE. I always love this guy. I really enjoy him. I think his face is really great. He has an awesome sculpt. I love his bloody ripped up shirt. I think that looks great. And I really love his long, like, fingers with talons. Really love that. And also, I think that the animation that he shares with Demonica and Damien is best used on him, on the Howler, because I feel like it best fits a werewolf, which is what he is, more than it fits a zombie and a kind of vampire that describes Demonica and Damien. I've always really loved the Howler, and I think it would be awesome to see him return for the 2022 season. Like I've mentioned for the other animatronics, if he was to return, Techie would revamp him and make him better quality. And again, he wasn't the best quality back in 2012 because he's a Techie prop, and again, they weren't really on their stride yet back in that time as far as quality goes. If he came back nowadays, he would be looking awesome, and he would have a great overall quality to him. So I feel like it would be awesome to see him back, and he really would be a great overall animatronic because of his quality and his look. The Howler is another one that haunters have always really loved because he's one of the only werewolves that we've seen from Spirit, and I think it would be awesome to see him return in stores in the ISUs for the 2022 season for his 10-year anniversary, and I think that it would get a lot of people excited, and he'd probably sell very well. Let's take a look at the next animatronic that could be returning for 2022. Headbanger Zombie is another one that haunters have always really loved. He was manufactured by YJ, and he retailed for $129.99, 130 United States dollars, until he was lowered to 90 United States dollars a little bit later. Headbanger Zombie is just such a cool animatronic because of how unique he really is. A zombie that hangs half body holding himself up is a really nice idea, and I feel like the only thing we ever got that was similar to this was Tortured Torso, who didn't like really have a super similar look to him, because Headbanger Zombie, I feel like, has a sort of cartoonish look to him, which I think also makes him really, really cool. His animation is great with the head going back and forth, where his name comes from, Headbanger, because it kind of, he headbangs. Really, really love that he holds himself up. I think that's an awesome feature to him, and this one is great if you want to, like, hang him and then let people walk underneath him. He just has such an awesome look to him, especially with his really gory looking face and his big open hanging mouth. His outfit looks really, really great with all the stains and kind of like dark markings on there. Really, really love it, and I think YJ did a great job on him. I would be so, so cool to see him return for the 2022 season in the ISEs, since he's just so unique that he holds himself up. He's really not like a lot of other animatronics who have to feature bases to hold themselves and like legs. He doesn't have legs, he just holds himself up, and I feel like it would be awesome to see him return, because we really don't see a lot of hanging animatronics ever featured in the ISEs, or the themes, whatever you want to call them. It'd be great to see him return, because, like, again, he'd be revamped and better quality than he was on the original, even though the original was pretty good quality, because YJ was doing better quality stuff back in 2012. It'd be great to see him return. I feel like a lot of people would like him, and a lot of people hunt for him nowadays on eBay to try and purchase him because of how rare he is and how much people really enjoy him. I feel like this would be a great Flashback Friday animatronic, especially because it'll be the 10-year anniversary of the Headbanger Zombie, and I would just love to see him once again in stores for Spirit Halloween 2022. Let's take a look at this next Spirit Halloween 2022 10-year anniversary animatronic. So the number one animatronic that I would love to see return for its 10-year anniversary for Spirit Halloween 2022 is the POPPIN Goblin. Now, I absolutely love the POPPIN Goblin. He was manufactured by Eastwall Management, who unfortunately has gone out of business after 2016. He only retailed for $99.99, $196 back in 2012, which is a fantastic price for what he is. He was just a goblin that popped out of a pumpkin, but he was a fantastic animatronic, really, except for the quality. People have always loved POPPIN Goblin's look. He's so, so different looking because he's a goblin, and we really don't get a lot of things that look like him. It honestly is such a good scare and such a clever scare at the same time, because when you see him, it really does just look like a decorative pumpkin, and then the mechanism slowly backs up and then pops up with the goblin, and I feel like it's an awesome scare that people really aren't expecting. His audio is really, really cool. His look is amazing. I love his orange and black, like, tuxedo kind of suit. I love his face and his pointy ears and his green skin. Really, really a fantastic animatronic, and again, the only thing that kind of was the downfall to the POPPIN Goblin was his quality. He was known to break really easy and sometimes emit smoke, which is a really bad thing. But it was just, he was known for frying because he really wasn't that great quality. If he was to return, which is actually not really possible due to the fact that Eastwall Management's out of business, unless Eastwall Management was purchased, which again, not really likely, but I'm just saying it'd be cool to see him return. If Eastwall Management kind of was bought by another company and they had access to the POPPIN Goblin, it would be great to see him return for 2022 with a better motor and just a better mechanism overall. This would be an awesome Flashback Friday because I love the POPPIN Goblin. His audio, his look, and his just overall scare is so, so cool, and I think he could fit in a lot of different ISDs because he's a really just generic, original Halloween idea. But again, it can't really happen because Eastwall Management is out of business. We would have to have another company come in and buy Eastwall Management if that hasn't happened already, which we don't believe it has. But if it did, then POPPIN Goblin would be able to return at some point in the future. But at this point, I don't believe Eastwall Management has been bought by anyone. So unfortunately, at the time of filming this, it's not really possible to see POPPIN Goblin return. But if the company is bought at some point, then it could happen, and it would be a fantastic Flashback Friday. POPPIN Goblin is such a fan favorite animatronic, really, except for his bad quality. His look and audio is just absolutely perfect, and he's really one of the best animatronics Spirit Halloween has ever released. And if Eastwall Management is ever bought, it'd be awesome to see him return, and it would be even better if that happened really soon so we could see him return for his 10-year anniversary for Spirit Halloween 2022. That's one for my video, taking a look at these 5 animatronics that we could see returning for Spirit Halloween 2022 for their 10-year anniversary. Let me know down below if there's any other animatronics that you would like to see return for their 10-year anniversary. And also let me know if you would like me to do a video counting down my top 5 Flashback Fridays that I want to see. Obviously, this video, I touched on some Flashback Fridays, but it's only the stuff that I want to see for its 10-year anniversary. There's a lot of other stuff that I want to see even more than the stuff I just listed, just as a Flashback Friday, not necessarily 2022 being their 10-year anniversary, just stuff I want to see for a Flashback Friday. But let me know if you want to see that video. Maybe I'll have that out very, very soon, because again, this really is the time for predicting for the upcoming Halloween season. Ladies and gentlemen, remember as always, for everything scary, I'm GMHaunts. I'll see you guys later for more Spirit Halloween 2022 videos. Goodbye.